Ready?
That's very funny. Hello, and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 33-4. I came in with a strange energy. I'm really sorry about that. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I don't have strange energy.
Every week we listen to great video game music from all consoles and all generations. And this week is a special live episode for our Patreon members. So if you want to watch us record an episode live and hang out in the chat and chat with us and talk with us, we do it once a month for our Patreon members. Patreon members of all levels, patreon.com/rhythmandpixels.
All shapes and sizes,
Yeah.
colors and sprinkles.
Also, as a member of
Flavors.
Patreon, you get access to additional content, like the live show that we recorded from Too Many Games just last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, as when this show comes out.
It ended up being a really fun time.
It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of audience participation, which was unexpected.
Oh, yeah.
And appreciated. And it recorded okay, so it's probably going to be a regular episode in a few weeks. But for now, it's going to be a Patreon exclusive if you want to listen to that. It's pretty cool.
I'm not going to lie, though. My favorite aspect of that whole thing, though the show itself was fun to do, it was nice when the episode ended and people from the audience were coming up just to have general conversation.
Yes. The guy who runs the live stream radio station of only Kirby music was in the audience, and he introduced himself. And I thought, oh, that's amazing. I'm running another radio station, too. I think everyone does. It's awesome to find other people who run radio stations that isn't lo-fi hip-hop. In fact, in the process of researching other virtual servers to host live streams, there's a whole industry of businesses that's all they do is they make it easy for people to stream lo-fi hip-hop for their own radio stations. And it's all like the same music.
Just like a let up bit.
Yeah, that's why if you search lo-fi hip-hop in YouTube, there's like 50 stations that are all, it's just BMO from Adventure Time in various places.
Well, I mean, I'll admit, BMO is a friggin' awesome character. So.
I've never seen the show. Is it BMO's Great Adventure?
No, it's Adventure Time.
BMO 3, The Revenge?
No, it's just BMO.
BMO.
It's literally just BMO.
BMO 4, Season of the Witch?
No, that's season 5.
Man, season 5.
It's literally, otherwise it's just BMO.
There's the BMO.
And he's an awesome little character. I bought the video game for Adventure Time on 3DS specifically because it came in a BMO case. And I was like, yes, I'm sold. Gimme.
I'll have to watch it eventually. I saw the pilot of Adventure Time, and I thought it was cute and awesome.
Oh, the pilot was amazing.
I know, and then I never watched it. It came out at the same time as another one. It was bee, honeybee, dog bee, cat bee. Cat bee?
I am all powerful. And the guy's like, shut up. He just takes his crown. He's like, no, my power. And then, of course, my favorite line for some dumb reason, the guy was like...
Bee and honey cat. All right, go on.
It was like, what was it, the Ice Clops. They start naming a bunch of random villains. The guy goes, Ice Clops. The guy goes, somebody say my name. Then for some reason, I rewound that part multiple times because the way the guy said that, I was like, yeah, I want this show to become a show. And then it became a show, and I was like, wow, this is not what I was expecting it to be. But I'm still glad it was great, and it lasted as long as it did.
How long did it went on for years, right?
It went on for quite a while.
Quite a while, yeah. So last week, we released our episode for the Masters of VGM kind of podcast event that was going on, and we had 8 composers. You had 4, I had 4, and I think we didn't really mean to, but we kind of wanted to each have like 2 Western composers, 2 Japanese composers.
Oh, I totally threw that to the winds. Like, there was a moment in there was a YouTube Twitter group for it, and there was a character that commented in there at one point.
Hard to call him a character.
And they were upset that we didn't have any Western composers, almost as though we were playing favorites or something, when in reality, it's likely just the games that we played happened to be games played that featured mostly Japanese composers.
Sure, yeah.
Which is not a surprise because I feel like if you weren't playing FPS games back in the day, you were generally playing Japanese Japanese localized games,
right,
which had Japanese composers. So I did feel a little bad at that point. It's like, I wonder if I'm not thinking about somebody. But then I naturally end up coming up with, Dominic, who is clearly not Japanese.
Yeah.
He's solid works. And in the end, I was just like, okay, here are my people. And they were diverse in their own right. And staying with you. You were just like, here are my people. At least my understanding is what you did. You was like, you just wrote down a list of people you liked, and you chose 4.
I had a list of 20, and then I had to pick 4 out of that. And that was so hard to do. It was so hard to do. And in the end, I wanted to create a theme, and that was Sega. And I thought, Sega meant a lot to me, so it's all going to be Sega composers or people involved in Sega in some way.
And honestly, I've been thinking about this too. I feel like for the live stream for this coming month,
it could have easily swung all the way to Konami.
Oh, that'd have been a dangerous game.
Yeah, right.
So, I'm hoping, assuming the Patreons are interested, the patrons are interested in it. I feel like the next month's Patreon live stream should be that for them.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Who would you consider to be your masters of VGM? Because quite frankly, when we were done the panel, that was someone was like, I want to hear what everybody else thinks. Who do you think should belongs on this list of people? I'm curious because everyone's experiences are different, which means they're going to have their own top tier list of composers. And of course, most importantly, no one's going to get all their people listed because there's too many.
Yeah, someone else is going to have it though.
Yeah.
I think that's just generally how it's going to be. But yeah, that's a great idea. So next month is going to be your Masters of VGM.
Oh yeah.
VGM means video game music.
So if you were a person that was like, not enough Western composers, now is your chance to remedy that. Shake it up.
All right, but this week is different. This week is, again, we're back to our summer kickoff. We all of our Patreon live episodes, we do listener suggested songs.
Mm-hmm.
So listeners write in. It doesn't have to be Patreon members, but any listener of the show, you can write in your recommendation for for this episode. And just like the VGM Jukebox, one of our favorite podcasts of the olden times, of the before times, you can write a testimonial, and we'll read your testimonial on the show. And so I am going to start the show as an even-numbered episode, 33-4, with a suggestion from our listener and fellow podcaster, Hammock. This is Wave Race 64, Twilight City, from Kazumi Totaka. You're listening to Twilight City from Wave Race 64 for the N64, composed by Kazumi Totaka. Ooh, Totaka's a classic composer too, a big time Nintendo composer. From Animal Crossing, KK Slider, it's Totaka.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah, he did a lot of that music. He's done a lot of music for Nintendo. Yeah.
Whatever that sounds.
Man, this is a quick little jam though. It's not that long.
It's messing with me though, because I said it on the break, but I played Wave Race 64 to death, which wasn't hard to do because it was one of the first games the console had when it was originally a gaming drought. And I don't remember this tune, but I feel like maybe that's because the only two levels I ever would rotate after beating the game were Marine Fortress and Sunset Bay, because I like the music on those levels the most.
This is good though.
Oh, this is a
I
good
love
track.
this right here. Listen to the cowbell.
But that's just it. It's like, now that I'm hearing this, I'm like, no, this is a solid beat. Like, I like this track.
That little interlude section with the solo, that could have been looped like 2 or 3 more times, and I wouldn't turn it away. I mean, that's good. All right, so Hammock wrote a testimonial, and he would like to say, when I think of fun in the sun, I think of quietly kayaking out on a beautiful lake somewhere far away from everything. But when I think of fun in the virtual sun, I think of Wave Race 64 on the Nintendo 64. Nothing says party in the USA more than tearing across the lake on your rich friend's dad's Yamaha Wave Runner EX Deluxe in the summertime. Don't like jet skis because they're too loud? Well, Wave Race 64 has you covered because you can ride a dolphin instead. But dolphins can be real chatty too. Believe me, I spent a year underwater. So much clicking, click, 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 and humping. Anyway, Wave Race 64 reminds me of playing my neighbor's N64 over summer vacation because it was just too dang hot outside to do anything else but chill under the AC, riding a dolphin. And nothing says party in Aqua City more than this soundtrack. So many jams to choose from, but Twilight City was and always will be my jam.
I like that testimonial.
That's a great testimonial. Hammock's always coming through with the tunes and with the testimonials because like that's just his cadence on his show.
Mm-hmm.
The KVGM, the next wave, the last wave. The next wave is the next show after the last one.
And the one thing I remember about Wave Race 64 that made it really stand out for its time, and honestly maybe even still, I don't know, is the fact that when they released it, they made a major push to talk about how the waves would the waves would change based on the lap you were on and the track you were on.
Oh, really?
And you had to kind of learn how to ride on the waves per se. Like it wasn't just I'm driving my jet ski, turn, drive my jet ski, turn. It was like, okay, the waves are coming in this way, so you got to kind of push slightly against the waves to ride it well enough to keep max
so
speed.
It wasn't like a racing game where it's like, okay, I have the perfect line for every turn. It was like
was that too?
Every lap was like you have the perfect line, but you had to adjust it based on the waves.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was really awesome. It was honestly a very different style of racing game than I'd been used to up until that point. Because prior to that was like the Road Rashes and the Top Gears, and honestly, that may well be the primary racing games I used to play. Sketching. Stunt Race 64. F-Zero. So, but yeah, Wave Race 64 was very different for the time. But I loved it to death, and as you can tell, the music was quite the beast.
Music is real good.
Kristen is done with work. I hope that doesn't mean she's letting us go for the day. But it is good that she's able to get out of the office.
She can't let us go because we quit.
No, I don't quit.
You're not the boss of me.
I want to hang out with all my BGM friends.
All right, Pernell, what's your next track?
All right, so the next track is going to actually also be a jet ski game.
I was hoping you would go for that.
You bet your tookus. This was a banger from the start.
You bet you tookus.
This comes from Electric Boogaloo, and the track is called Beginner Course. It's come from the arcade game Sega Water Ski, and is composed by Tetsuya Kawauchi. Welcome back. You're listening to Beginner Course from the game Sega Water Ski, released to the arcade, composed by Tetsuya Kawauchi and submitted by listener Electric Boogaloo. Funny enough, Rob apparently discovered that he had chosen this track on an earlier episode of the show too, so great minds do think alike, and great taste in music collide to result in catastrophic, yet somehow soothing musical tenderness. So, what does he have to say about this track, our friend Electric Boogaloo? Well, Sega Water Ski's flyer dared to ask, have you ever walked on water? Developed by Sega's AM1, the team behind Wave Runner and Sega Bass Fishing, Water Ski lets you ride on a huge cabinet with giant foot pedals, similar to those on Namco's Alpine Racer games. And you go around the track with one of 4 charismatic characters and ski your way through buoys, make spectacular jumps, and attempt some insane stunts while doing it. I don't remember if I had seen a water ski cabinet in real life, but I've sadly never played on an actual cabinet. It wasn't until the magic of emulation where I heard about it and thus played it. While trying to play it with keyboards is certainly no substitute for ski simulating foot pedals, but like their Wave Runner arcade game, it's got some really nice summer vibes going for it, including those classic Sega Blue Skies, and over-the-top announcer voiced by Sega Bass Fishing's own Hisaki Namiya.
Oh, I love that.
The soundtrack by Tetsuya Kawauchi, best known for his work on the first 2 House of the Dead games, really does hone in on the summer party mood. This beginner course song in particular really gets you pumped out of the hit the water and have a blast. So if there's any place that might have a Sega cabinet water ski out there, it might be worth a couple of your minutes. Pull off some high jumps and crazy tricks, and you might just get a top ranking.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Sega water ski game. Now, we did have a water ski game at Funscape when I worked there, and I always assumed it was Wave Race, but maybe it was this one.
It couldn't have been Wave Race. I don't think that game had an arcade game.
For some reason, I always thought Wave Race was an arcade port, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe we had this game.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because Wave Race was specifically released on N64 for the first time, and then it got... Blue Storm might have had an arcade game, but I don't think it did. Maybe it did. But Wave Race Blue Storm was the GameCube game, and that was the last one.
It was Wave Runner.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because we walk by it and we go, Wave Runner! And that was... Is that Taito? Was that a Taito joint? Hold on. I don't know. Oh, and the sequel, H2 Overdrive.
H2
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was. Oh, it was Sega. Hold on. This is killing me here.
What are you looking for?
I want to know who developed Wave Runner.
Taito, probably.
Ah, that's a Yamaha. A Wave Runner is actually a Yamaha. Oh, it was Sega. It was Sega.
There you go.
Sega made so many jet ski games. What is happening?
They make money, that's why. Video games where you sit on a giant cab and pay exorbitant amounts of money for 30 seconds of fun. Yeah, that's Sega.
That sounds about right. This does have a summery vibe to it, doesn't it? So think about that keyboard sound.
Oh, yeah. And that was the thing. That's why when I first listened to it, I was like, this is an instant choice for me because it covers the summery vibe to the letter.
Yeah.
Like you drive to the beach as a kid and you get out of the car and you're running down the pier to get to the, to the water line, the shoreline, and just everything's happening at once. The jet skis shooting by, the kids throwing frisbees, the guy getting hit with a volleyball, all in your face while you're eating a corn dog. That's summer, baby, and this music is playing over the experience.
You're getting me all excited for summer. Yeah, like when I walk out to the beach and I see kids playing paddleball and there's like a plane flying overhead that's got a banner that says, Beach Boys cover band playing at the such and such. Go do that. And there's ice cream. It's always good. I love the beach.
I do too, except for how much money it costs and how crappy the parking is.
It's not great. But if you have a Delaware Parks tag, you can go to many Delaware beaches for free.
But how's the parking?
Well, you have your own parking.
They don't have private spaces.
No, but it's parking lots. Yeah.
And they're not full?
Not always.
I like the sound of that.
If you go when we go. 7 a.m.
Oh, cripes. Yeah, you keep that noise.
Yeah, then you can park anywhere.
The problem I have now is I got to wake up early for work. I'm not going to wake up early by choice.
You can go to Seashore Park. You can go to Cape Henlopen. And I think you can park on the street in Lewis. And you can park on the street in Bethany for free.
Yeah, but then the problem is you got to park on the street, and the parking is usually extremely tight.
It's very, very tight. Super, super tight. But it's worth it.
And since I'm tall, I've always driven tall, like lengthy cars.
Yeah, that's true. I do not relish having to parallel park the Buick that we bought. We have like a 2003 Buick.
But
it's massive.
Yeah, I probably don't particularly do that, but I definitely will jalapeno a Buick if I have a chance. Yeah. I'll be here all week with my dad jokes and groan-worthy anecdotes.
All right, our next track, I'm going to pick from Jess. Jess picked from the game Police Quest 3, music by Jan Hammer, who is also the composer of the Miami Vice theme song.
Jan Hammer.
Yeah, I did a ton of music for commercials, television shows, and movies. Jan Hammer. This is the title music to Police Quest 3 for the PC, and this is picked by our listener, Jess. That was title music from Police Quest 3 for the PC, composed by Jan Hammer. That was a really slick track. It just sounded like more like sophisticated. It did sound like a TV theme song more than like a game theme song.
The thing is, like the name, I've never heard of this game, but the title makes me wonder. I wish that it was like a police RPG.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
Really?
So it's a police RPG in that it's a King's Quest or a Space Quest. Have you played those games?
No.
So
King's Quest I've heard of.
King's Quest and Space Quest. So they were like point-and-click adventure games from Sierra. Space Quest was really, really silly. It was more of a comedy. The Police Quest series was more of like a police procedural, but you had to follow every single rule in the book.
Oh my God, I'm saying to beat you to it. I was going to say, it's about following all the rules.
It is. And if you
is.
don't, like something horrible goes wrong and you die. And it's very serious. It's very, very serious. But they made like 5 or 6 of them.
It's like Dragon's Lair, but for cops. It's like just right there. Push the QuickTime button, but they don't show it on the screen. You just gotta know.
No, this one's like point and click. And okay, oh, but you didn't fill out the police report. Point and click. Oh, you didn't throw out the trash. You didn't put the evidence away in the
Sounds
locker.
like the criminal gets away again. You know, putting a coin to continue.
But it's true, because if you don't follow procedure and they go to court and they show that the police didn't follow the procedure, the criminal could just walk away.
Yeah, but that's when Vigilante Quest 1 starts.
That's the game, but that's when you start playing Batman.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about Vigilante Quest. Let's set this up.
See, if you start to fail in Police Quest, you can load up Batman for the NES and punch tanks. That's a Vigilante.
That's still one of Sunsoft's greatest shock successes.
I know.
We're gonna release this Batman game. It has nothing to do with Batman except for the last 2 bosses, and Batman apparently can punch tanks now. Oh, I'm sorry. It does have the Axis chemical plant, but it's also probably the most baffling corporate enterprise I've ever seen in a video game. How does get through OSHA qualifications? I have no idea. Chemicals just dripping from pipes down to the floor.
They own the ocean. Thank you very much.
That is true. But, it's still, how do the employees get from point A to point B when they clock in to start their shifts? It made no sense.
They just live at work, man. They live at work because they love what they do.
They let themselves become electrified monsters who stand on specific platforms waiting for violators to show up and intrude on the premises. But they collect a cool $10.50 an hour to do so they're okay with the gig.
Someone has to do the job. And if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Just on platforms doing nothing.
All right, we have a testimonial from Jess. Jess says, when I started trying to think about Sunny games, for some reason, Detective Sunny Bonds from the Police Quest series popped into my head. So what the heck? Close enough. I grew up on point-and-click adventures and always thought that Police Quest 3 was probably the best one in the series. The mouse-only interface was a huge improvement over the text parser in the previous games. Growing up in the pre-internet age meant no FAQs or online walkthroughs, so you got to listen to the music a lot when you figured it out. Thankfully, we had a sound blaster, and most of these games have awesome soundtracks. That is true. They sound great. You definitely won't want to listen to the tracks on their own outside the game, but they sure do set the scene and mood in the game. The title track is definitely something you'll want to listen to on its own, though. This song is really cool.
Actually,
super cool.
Martyrs made a good point. He asked about the Buddy Cop VGM theme revival, which means we need to reach out to Hammock again, because he did say he wanted to do it.
Yeah. Well, and sadly, this has already been used now.
Well, this track has.
Yeah. Oh, we have a Pirates versus Ninjas theme coming up with Carlos, and then we'll have the Buddy Cop Part 2 with Hammock. We can probably get that done in the next month, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that right now I still want more listener suggestions, but we're actually flush with topics, which means we won't have to sit there at the middle of the night. We need a topic. I
got a whole list. You know what I also have for now? I have a quiz.
Episode topic or pastry dish from Wawa.
The pastry dish from Wawa?
That's the quiz, isn't it? Episode topic or pastry dish from Wawa.
That's actually a really good idea. But you know way too much about Wawa. We can't be doing that.
I really do. I know a lot about Wawa. Freaking delicious. I eat most dinners from there.
Instead, we are going to have a quiz. And it is all about what you know about Game Awards.
Nothing. There you go. There's your answer, Fishbulb. All Purnout knows is that he likes video games that rarely get awards.
So you can remember, sort of, what was a popular game in a certain year.
Maybe.
I bet you could.
Well, I guess you're about to find out because you're putting me to the test. I've never studied for this topic.
Well, think about maybe what was the most popular game in that year, and that'll help you.
What game was too cool for school?
So what's going to happen is I'm going to list the magazine or the publication or the award system ceremony, whatever, the people who are giving in the awards.
Okay.
And the year they gave out the award.
And I have to name the game?
And you have to see if you can name the game.
Is it multiple choice?
No.
Are you Daft Punk?
Absolutely yes.
You know how hard that's going to be? Like, now you've played thousands of games in your life. What game won Best Shooter in 1998? Well, clearly Doom.
So think about that. Think about that. And I'm not even giving you. It's not. This is just Game of the Year. GOTY. Right. Overall.
Uh-huh.
All right. We're gonna start. EGM in 1997. 1997.
That was a good year for Scotch.
So in 1997.
There's a lot of awards. I need something more than that.
EGM's best in 1997.
The best game of the year in 97?
97. What system was tops in 97?
Maybe Resident Evil 2?
It was Resident Evil 2?
But that could have come out in the beginning of 98.
There we go. Now it's happening. Now it's working. Yes, come on.
Don't you guess me. This is a horrible quiz. Try it anyway.
Oh, you don't want to do nightmare mode? This is nightmare mode for now.
It already is. I didn't opt for this garble.
All right.
But that's my guess, though. It's Resident Evil 2.
All right, let's narrow it
really
down.
curious about
Nintendo 64.
It was N64?
N64 1997 Game of the Year. From EGM.
It wouldn't have been Mario, 'cause that was 96 when the system came out. It was on the N64?
Yeah.
What the McGarbo? I bought like every game that came out early on in that system's life, too. Oh, man. Cruising Unit? No, it wasn't Cruising. It wasn't Jet Force Gemini.
Cruising.
Was it Blast Corps?
Nope. Yeah, I would never do Blast Corp.
Hey, don't you trash Blast Corps. That game was fun.
Yeah, but which no one appreciated when it came out.
That is very true, actually.
So what is a game that everybody appreciated on the N64?
I don't know.
It was GoldenEye.
That was not. Why did I not remember GoldenEye? I hated that game so much. A friend of mine bought it for me for Christmas, and I had to actually smile about it. I was like, thanks. I appreciate this, and I pretty much used it solely for like multiplayer entertainment when people came by and they just wanted to play GoldenEye. Though I will admit, though, I did find myself enjoying the single player because the lack of jumping made it easier for me to deal with the actual maneuvering and stuff.
The platforming. It wasn't no platforming. It was just
it was just turn in a direction and shoot. No need to aim up and down or anything like that.
All right, Destructoid 2007.
Destructoid 2007. This is a hard quiz. I love how you're like, Pernell knows games. He don't know these.
All right, what was a great game? 2007. 2007. What came out in 2007?
What came out in 2007? Lots of stuff.
Yeah, but what were the games people were talking about in 2007?
I don't friggin' know. I need more. Give me a letter or something.
I can't. The first one was all I remembered.
Jeez, this quiz is hard. I wonder if anybody else has something. Like, cause then I'm thinking Destructoid 2007, a game they liked. It would have probably been on the Xbox 360 at the time.
07, 360.
You don't just spitball in there.
I know, but you can throw a shot in the dark here.
It's a very dark room. I mean, I'm throwing a lot. Oh, jeez. I'll close my eyes, bring up the answer, and give me a clue. Because I got nothing. Let me know I can
First-person shooter.
Can I open my eyes again?
Open your eyes. It's BioShock.
That was BioShock?
2007, Game of the Year, BioShock.
That's how long ago BioShock was?
2007.
No, don't get me wrong. It deserved the award. BioShock was amazing. But I did not remember that. See, Chris Murray's in the same boat. He named Skyrim and GTA 5. Both of which did not come out in 2007. But I understand where he's coming from.
Japan Game Awards 2004.
Really?
Yes. All right. So now. Think of a game that was super popular. That was maybe only popular. That would have only been popular
in
Japan. Yeah. Okay. Clue. It was eventually popular out here in the States years later.
Years later.
Multiplayer. Years.
It was
later.
a multiplayer game.
Years later. This one was not.
But so it came out later in the States.
Massive appreciation in Japan. came out much, much later in the States and is a different game.
As a different game.
Yeah, like a future title in the series. In the series, Japan loves this game.
I'm just like Dokapon because it sure is actually Dokapon.
It doesn't have a Japanese name.
Oh, okay, so it is an actual non-Japanese
Yeah.
title.
All right.
Skyrim GTA 5.
You can't just keep saying Skyrim and GTA 5.
Skyrim, clearly.
And Triple Jeff didn't move to Japan until 2014.
Oh, man. You're failing me, Jeff. You're failing me.
It was Monster Hunter.
No, they were coming. Oh, you know what? You know what's messing with me now? When the PSP. Because the PSP, I didn't get into Monster Hunter or even try to until Freedom Unite. And at that time, I didn't understand the game. I got into it eventually and actually liked it in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, but I primarily played it single player.
All right, here we go. The Game Developer's Choice, 2019. Three years ago.
You know what? I got this one.
3 years ago.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Game developers, the nerds who make the games.
Oh, Skyrim.
What did they love?
Skyrim.
Do you think it was Skyrim? When did Skyrim come out?
How many times did Skyrim come out?
2019.
It comes out every 2 years.
All right, think of an indie game 3 years ago that was super popular.
An indie game.
Yes.
There's a lot of those, man.
I know, but only so many shot to like the zeitgeist of people's brains who don't even play a lot of games.
In 2019.
Yes, 3 years ago.
Oh my God. I think he has it. Chris Murray, I think, nailed this one.
So Chris Murray says Celeste. Kristen Tucker says Tetris. It is the Untitled Goose Game.
That was 2019?
That was 2019. Is this?
Oh my God!
Do we have to stop the game? Am I making you feel bad?
How old am I? That was 2019. I really thought that was like 2020 or 2021.
Just 3 years ago. It's just 3 years ago.
That's a long time in old man years. 2019 was Untitled Goose Game. Oh my Glaven. I guess it kind of makes sense because the Mighty Goose was kind of a spin on the whole Angry Goose bit.
Right,
and that came out last year.
Yeah. All right.
Man.
Next up is 1989 from Famitsu. So 1989. So it's Famicom.
Mario 3.
Famitsu.
Mario 3. Mario 3 came out in 90 in the States.
But what was popular in Japan? 1989.
Could have been Mario 3.
All right. And it was Final Fantasy 2.
No one cared about Final Fantasy 2.
That's why this is Famitsu.
This is the one that everybody ragged on, though I personally thought it was a good idea. That was the one where the battle system, you didn't have levels. You statted up based on like whether if you dealt damage or took damage or used specific types of attacks.
So what's interesting, 1988, their game of the year was Final Fantasy 1. 89 was Final Fantasy 2. And 90 was Final Fantasy 3.
I tell you, though, if there's a person out there that is listening to this episode and they're like, well, clearly it was Final Fantasy 2, and obviously it was freaking Bioshock, like you, sir, need to come on the show because you have an uncanny knowledge of video game awards.
I knew this was going to be hard, but I had no idea.
Multiple choice would have made it reasonable. I'd be like, okay, I can make the dice.
The Dice Awards 2020.
Oh, I love board games.
All right, but I forget what it stands for. But 2 years ago, what do you think was most popular 2 years ago?
Bioshock.
It's hard because you play so many games.
I played thousands of games. Like I not even say it to be like arrogant. It's not being a jerk. I play like 4 games a week.
I was thinking like he plays so many games. Of course he's going to know like what's the most popular. So I'll just make it based on the date.
My brain is like a Rolodex. If you name a game, it runs through the files, it pops it out, and I remember everything about it immediately.
So if I listed 4 games, you're going to be like, I don't know, Skyrim.
No, if you named 4 games, I could probably nail it down. In fact, I'll close my eyes, you make up 4 games, and one of them be the real one. I'll give you the answer.
All right, it was Hades, 2020 Hades.
You're supposed to cheat. You're supposed to give me the 4 games.
That's not the game.
Yeah, it's too late. I saw the screen.
BAFTA Awards, the British Academy Game Awards. From 2013.
T-Brawler.
It was The Last of Us.
the last of that. I love that game.
Polygon 2016. Polygon 2016 for now.
Super Mario. No, there wasn't even a Mario game out in 2016. That was the year before.
I put
the
time
Switch
on
released.
this quiz.
I know you did. I'm sorry. This is a really rough topic.
All right, here we go. GameFan44 says Animal Crossing. Chris Murray says Monopoly Jr.
For 2016,
Martyra says Fallout 76.
it couldn't have been Animal Crossing, unfortunately.
Could have been Fallout 76.
Wait. It could have been, because Animal Crossing New Leaf would have come out. Yeah. I'm going to back Kristen on that. It could very well have been New Leaf.
It was Doom.
No,
They
it
loved
wasn't.
Doom, the Doom remake.
I did too, but oh god. I remember the Doom remake got like but the video game group that I run, we did our yearly award ceremony for that, and Doom was getting like every award. It was the most amazing thing to see. People loved that game.
Jeff says it's not Purnell's fault. You wasted your time. Damn.
Thank you, Jeff. You got my back, buddy.
Yeah, all right. So now I know. Now I know to dumb things down for you in the future.
Hey, you. Hey, you. All you gotta do is multiple choice when it's this broad.
I'll do better. US Gamer 2019. You got any ideas? 2019. 2019.
US
Again,
Gamer?
3 years ago.
Stars and Stripes Quest? I don't know. I guess it could have been. I guess I have a real game.
I don't know.
US Gamer. Maybe that could have been like
2019.
No, Celeste came out in 2018, I think, actually. Because you were playing that for a bit.
That was, yeah.
So it couldn't have been Celeste. US Gamer.
Yeah, so just an American Game Award.
So American Game Award. Skyrim.
It was
Disco Elysium. That's a game that Matt talked up.
Disco
big time.
Elysium. I don't know anything about that one.
I know very little about it, but I know
Love the art
Matt
style.
loved
Love
it.
the art style. Time Magazine last year, 2021. Time Magazine Game of the Year from their editors from 2021.
That would have been Hades, but that was 2021, which wasn't a time for Hades. That was a prior. So Shubba Dubba. 2021. What was a big game? Give me a system. What tried you
Last year. I don't remember.
I don't know. This is 2021. This is going to be the most painful because it was literally last year. Should be fresh in my mind. But even when I give my own game awards, it's never like the big stuff. It's always like
I know.
the games that
You don't
touched
think
me.
about that. Yeah, that's another thing I don't think I considered. Martyris says Undertale.
And I wish it was Undertale, but that
Chris
got...
Murray says Armored Core. Is that what
No,
AC?
he was saying Animal Crossing.
Oh, Animal Crossing. I don't know. See, all I see is AC.
Actually, you know the funny thing? No, Animal Crossing would have been 2020. That was when the pandemic first kicked off, and Animal Crossing saved mental states all around the country.
Kirby? No, yeah, we'll give it to it. It is Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread was Game of the Year from Time Magazine.
I'm surprised to hear that.
2021.
Don't get me wrong, it definitely deserved it, but I'm surprised it got it.
And thank you for playing. I'm going to give myself the award for making an impossible quiz.
You really friggin' did. Friggin' brutal quiz. I don't know what that was about.
It was me thinking I was being clever. Instead, I was just being making it links a little too difficult.
It was a monstrous quiz. Monstrous quiz.
All right. Anyway, let's get to some more music. What's your next track?
All right, let me see. All right, I'm good for this one. This is going to come from the listener GameFan44. This is
Talk to the microphone.
Oh, I like the microphone. This comes from GameFan44. This is from the game Toem. I'm not even sure how you pronounce it. Toem, T-O-E-M.
Oh, I thought it was Toem? Toem.
It could be Toem because
Yeah.
toe with an M. A Place in the Sun, composed by Launchable Socks and Jamal Green. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
I will say straight up that, well, first and foremost, I'll mention the track and I'll name this point. This came from the game Toem, and the track is titled A Place in the Sun, submitted by GameFan44, and is composed by Launchable Socks and Jamal Green. An interesting point that Chris Murray brought up in the chat was we were talking about the idea of having games we never got around to playing, and it was spawned by me talking about how I owned but never played Skyrim. And Chris Murray goes, 1 or 2, I have tons of games I've never played but owned digitally or physically. And I feel like in the modern age, a lot of people are like that now. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, I mean, even if you're like, well, but per now, I don't have a ton of money. Neither do I. But nonetheless, you know, we live in an age now where like they make games like peanuts cheap. You can get games for like $1, mm-hmm. $5, good games, not even shovelware. And as a result, you might feel compelled to go, now as this cheap, I have to get it while I can afford it. But then you still haven't gotten around to playing it yet. So it's easy to just kind of stockpile unplayed titles. It's just the way of the nature of the business nowadays. But enough about rambling about games I'll never get around to playing. Let's talk about this wonderful game that I should be playing, submitted by GameFan44. She says, these are some of the songs, because she mentioned a few songs. I'll name the other one she mentioned too, even though we didn't play them.
I think we picked a good one.
Oh, we totally did.
Yeah.
She submitted Ginger Island from Stardew Valley, Purification of the City from Flower, and Celebi's theme from Pokemon Coliseum. And so, of course, I chose the Toem track. And she says, these are some of the songs I think about when it's a nice, crisp morning and you can tell it's going to be a hot one outside. I've been working on the Summer Games Challenge. She absolutely has. I'm hoping to beat one more game this month and start the summer off with 3 games finished. Wow. Wishing everyone a great summer. And we greatly appreciate that because, yeah, she's been putting in the work. Putting us to shame, Rob.
That's a summer. That's a kickoff the summer. 3 games. I'm
trying to remember. I know she did Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages. Mm-hmm. I believe she also did Oracle of Seasons. She did both games, which was cool because she was able to do the password passing back and forth feature. But I'm trying to remember. She actually posted another one recently that she was able to get through before, you know, I think she made her goal. But I don't remember the game. She'll have to tell us in the chat at some point what the third game was. I think she pulled it off, though.
A Toem looks amazing. It's like it's a black and white. It looks hand-drawn, but it's definitely 3D modeled. And you're just running around this world, and you got to take pictures.
Which is actually I like the whole relaxation vibe of it. Like the whole quest system is taking pictures for people that want them.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I feel it's an interesting thing to like. I find myself wanting to play these photography games, but I'm always wishing there was some air of danger. I'm not saying you have to have combat. Just I want there to be some risk involved. Like I want you to get a picture of this rare bird who lives at the center of a volcano. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a high price photo.
It's definitely not a Purnell game because
it could be. It could be. I get stressed sometimes. I want to relax with a nice black and white character.
I know, but you don't. I feel like you're relaxing is someone else's stressful time.
That is true. She named it. It was Minish Cat.
Minish
and
Cat.
I should have remembered that because she inspired me to open my game up and play through it again. Because I'm actually on the last dungeon of Minish Cat.
So she went full Zelda.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
3 really good Capcom developed Zelda games.
Oh, I didn't realize they were all Capcom developed.
Mm-hmm. I might be wrong about Minish Cat, but I'm almost positive all 3 of them were. I'll have to double check later. But that's partly why I was a big fan of those Oracle titles because they played very differently from your typical Zelda game, despite having the general features of dungeon exploration and dungeon items and whatnot. They just felt different. And I like that about them a lot.
What about it was a little different?
That's what I'm saying.
Chris Murray says photography walking sim nightmare mode.
Oh yeah, man. Hard mode. You get three rolls. As you know, photography walking sim nightmare mode is freaking Outlast. Have you ever played Outlast? Have I ever told you about Outlast?
Talking to me?
Yes.
I'm probably, but I don't remember.
That was the game where you are the journalist who breaks into an insane asylum because you got a call about some weird goings on and you get trapped in there.
Oh.
So you're running around trying to avoid like crazy people that are trying to kill you. And you don't have a weapon. All you have is your camera. And the camera is your source of light as well.
Oh.
So everything's being done. You're looking through the camera. And as you're running from things, your light's running on a battery.
Now there's another game like that.
I was right. Kristen confirmed they're all Capcom.
There's another horror game on the PlayStation that was like that. Was a D?
Are you thinking about Fatal Frame?
Fatal Frame.
Yeah, but Fatal Frame is different, though. Fatal Frame, you get the film for taking photos. That's your attack power. That's like do damage, you take a shot. Outlast...
Yeah, the ghosts don't want to be seen.
They don't want to be seen. So I don't get me wrong, there was definitely stress in Fatal Frame. But with Outlast, you couldn't fight back. You were only running away, and the camera was your eyes and also your light.
Ooh, so it was like kind of reduced like vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're running in the dark with your light on the entire time, your batteries are going to go dead, and you have a limited supply of batteries. You're out of batteries, you're running in the dark. Not by choice. So you're running around, hiding under beds. You have to turn the light off to conserve battery power. Sometimes you're tiptoeing through the dark because you don't want to drain your battery. And you're like, well, I know the distance between here and there.
Yeah.
If I can tiptoe, I can listen for the guy to scream. To me, that's nightmare mode because you do have to take pictures of stuff sometimes too, for like evidence and things like that. It's freaking creepy. Zelda is not. Zelda's relaxing, and so is Toem. So, yes, that's not.
Yeah. And there's no like repercussions for like taking a bad picture, this or that. You just gotta do it again. It was like
you don't know that. They might say, I don't want this photo. Give me a better one.
It was like in Spirit Fair. Like there's an arc to the story. You're playing through it, but you're not like being chased by anything. You don't have hit
You're being
points
chased by time.
You are being chased by time, but you can take all the time in the world. But it just feels bad if you do sometimes. Because you start to think of the other characters like real people.
Like, why am I wasting this poor character's time?
Like, he wants to move on. Let him move on. He's tired.
Well, looks like Kristen does have to go for a bit.
All right, well.
Thanks for joining us, Kristen. It was a great time hanging out with us. Oh, my God. It was a wonderful time. And be well. And keep us posted on your game chronicling. Because it's really exciting to hear about the games you're playing through. Yeah,
for our listeners of the show, we have a Discord server. You can find it on our website, rhythmandpixels.com. And there's a little channel called the Summer Games Challenge. And that's where everyone's kind of talking about the games they're playing and posting their progress and how they're doing.
And Chris Murray saying he don't think he can handle Outlast. I don't know. I feel like they do have difficulty settings where the batteries don't drain as fast. I was playing on a difficulty where the batteries were just like... So I really did have to learn how to run in the dark. But there are easier settings. You can handle it, Chris. Just got to step in there.
All right, so our next track is coming from Chris Murray. I'm going to pick the Chris Murray track. This is Enigma Rips the Sky from Caravan Stories, composed by Azusa Chiba. All right, you just listened to Enigma Rips the Sky from Caravan Stories, composed by Azusa Chiba with a chorus by Cantillation. And that was really a beautiful track. Really, really enjoyed that. It really started sounding like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I was like, this is like Summer in the Mayan ruins.
It's just when the piano comes in, it's just it's very uplifting, has a very strong arc to it. I really enjoyed that. Chris Murray says, I picked this track because the album art is very sunny, and the idea of caravanning anywhere makes me think of sunny skies, open spaces. In this track, I feel like this track delivers that vibe. I've never played this game, and the soundtrack is absolutely massive, but this track stood out to me, so I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do. I did enjoy it. When I looked up the information on BGMDB, it had 10 volumes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of music popping
There's
up.
a lot of music. It sounds like a very long, like a very large game, or maybe series of games.
Well, and it might be an online game, which means they probably just expand upon it with new music when they create new regions and stuff like that.
That could be what it is, yeah. An online game. Where
This is not, what is that game that everyone's playing nowadays?
Genshin?
Yeah, Genshin Impact. Which
Are
is
people still playing that?
Yeah, it's getting another expansion. It, quote unquote, leaked recently. Like, there are leaks to Genshin Impact expansions. Like, really?
Yeah,
I am astounded.
I can see that. Right now, Summer Games Quick is going on this week. Have you been watching any of that?
I have not, though. The Wise Guy submitted some interesting statements on like a bunch of shirts they're putting out for it this year. There's like an Omori shirt that I really kind of want to get.
Yeah, I think there's an Omori run that's going on during the event. I watched a bit of what's the one you're a fox but you're like a thief, Den of Thieves, Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper, the PS2 franchise.
Yeah, but it was a Sly Cooper.
He was a raccoon. It was Sly Cooper and
it was a raccoon. It was a raccoon. I keep thinking he's a fox. It was called Den of Thieves, and it was the sequel the guy was playing.
Yeah, maybe
it was really fun to watch.
Are you sure it was an Honor Among Thieves?
Honor Among Thieves.
That's Sly Cooper 3.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's the one. I think I played a bunch of that one. That was on the 360. I'm pretty sure.
That's a PlayStation franchise.
Was it PlayStation? Oh no, it was PlayStation 2. I remember playing it in the condo. And those are the two systems I had in the condo. the PlayStation 2, then I had the Xbox 360. But it was really cool. They had lots of different skips to skip through, like cut scenes and to get enemies that you couldn't normally get.
So it was like a modded thing that allowed them to do that?
No. It was just they figured out ways to go out of bounds and like do crazy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
It's interesting when they do that in more modern games because you try to assume that they come up with like the actual developers like, okay, we need to actually gatekeep so you can run down this narrative path.
No way.
No way to go around. And they're like, no, I'll show you. I'm gonna jump off this cliff 5 times.
The bigger and more complicated, exactly. The bigger and more complicated they make these games, I feel like there's more holes people can poke through them. You know.
It just amazes me that they can. I want to see it. I need to go watch a La Mulana speedrun. I'm sure someone's done it, and I'm sure they broke the.
That's when I first heard about it. Was you told me about it, and then like I hadn't thought about it in a long time, and then I saw it on Games Done Quick, but it was boring because they already knew the answers to all the puzzles, so they were just racing to each puzzle and just finishing it really quick and going to the next one, just finishing real quick. And
but as a person who's already
impressive
played the game,
is the bosses.
exciting.
The bosses are impressive, obviously, but yeah, because you know the game, so yeah.
But if you haven't solved the puzzle, it's kind of a spoiler for you. You're like, what the heck? What did he do? Why did he even do that?
Exactly, yeah. But it doesn't really spoil it because like oh, he walked over here and stepped on this thing and then jumped and then something happened. I'm like, of course. Like for me, it makes no sense, seeing that happen because there's no context around him doing those individual things to do.
Yes.
What's exciting about La Mulana is having all of the clues that lead up to this like one little thing that you had to do that was in front of you the whole time.
You should go back to it. I say this, but I don't know how you could.
I don't know how. I'd have to start over. I took so many notes. I tried really hard. I tried real hard to do that game.
This is a brute.
Just to do that game, not to finish it. I just wanted to do it.
Be a part of the
I wanted to be part of that group.
There's your nightmare mode, by the way. Anybody's in the Summer Games Challenge, you want a nightmare mode, go play La Mulana.
Just play the game. No, just normal style. Just play the game.
You don't even have to complete it. I just want to see how well you do.
You did the whip only mode.
I did, and I didn't get the achievement. I'm still mad about that.
Is there an achievement?
Yeah.
That's
without using special weapons, and that's the reason I did it. I was like, I wonder if I could pull this off, and I finished it. The game was like, no, you didn't. I'm like, you stupid game, you lied.
Yeah, that would be infuriating.
It was.
Yeah, La Mulana. Speaking of floaty jumping,
that game has tons of floaty jumps.
Pretty bad. All right, so we're on to your last track.
All right, what is my last track?
Right.
Give me a second to compose myself. I got caught up in the whole La Mulana buzz. Okay, this actually comes from Curly Kevin. This track is from the game Paradise Killer. I need to start that game, maybe at the airport tomorrow. This comes from that game, and the track title is called 8th Street Rose. and it's composed by Barry Epoch Topping. Welcome back, and I am currently wishing that I was eating one pot chicken with Spanish rice, which the masterful chef Hammock is preparing right now. But instead, I got to save it for later and talk about this fantastic submission by Curly Kevin from the game Paradise Killer called 8th Street Rose, composed by Barry Epoch Topping. So, Paradise Killer is a game that has been sitting on my to-play list forever and a darn day because I love the premise behind it. I just haven't sat down to start it. It's like a procedural crime scenario, but you get to choose when to end it, And as long as you can just kind of state a case for whoever the killer is, you win. It's a weird idea, but people love it, so I assume it feels good to play. So I want to find out.
So you win, meaning that you end the game.
Yes,
but it doesn't necessarily mean that you
haven't technically solved the crime because you technically want to solve the crime, but there's no one to tell you failed. It's interesting.
That's interesting. That's like an old school mystery where like the mystery is presented, you follow the detective, but then they don't tell you. It was like you had to figure it out watching it.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what Curly Kevin had to say about Paradise Killah. Says, for summertime, I can't think of one game that fits better than Paradise Killah. It takes place on a tropical island as you are investigating a cult-like group that worships aliens and abducts people to join said island. You explore the island in first person, finding clues and interacting with a colorful cast of characters. I would say more, but I'll just leave a teaser. I highly suggest this game. I suggest any track from the OST in the new extended album called About That Paradise Killah B-Sides. They added these new tracks in an update to the PC and Nintendo Switch and are a part of these Xbox Series X and S and PS5 versions. If I did a Masters of VGM, I would choose Barry Topping as a new addition to that. Well, Curly Kevin, maybe you'll submit another track for Paradise Killah for next month.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to. Every track I've heard from this game has been awesome.
It really has.
This track is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love this track.
It fits the vibe of being on a tropical island too.
Yeah, but like I don't know, it's like a tropical island, but also kind of like a cool '90s nightclub. You know?
Yeah,
like stepping out on the town, which I really like.
So we're talking about like beat 'em ups, right? In the chat, because Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. And and Triple Jeff says, I am hoping it can give me, referring to Shredder's Revenge, I'm hoping it can give me the same joy that I got from Scott Pilgrim, which was River City Ransom vibes. And for me, I'm like, I love what I've played of Shredder's Revenge so far, and I love Scott Pilgrim, but I can't think of too many games that are going to give me what Scott Pilgrim gave. Mm-hmm. I can't speak for everybody, but it was like the perfect storm when that game dropped. One, I'm obsessed with the whole River City Ransom, buying upgrades to like moves and stuff like that, shopping for food. It had Paul Robeson for art and Anna Monoguchi for the music.
Yeah, which
and it had
the power team right there. That's perfect.
And even though you can either take or leave the premise of Scott Pilgrim, the concept of Scott Pilgrim is perfect for a beat 'em up. It's all video game references.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. So it's like the whole thing was just the perfect storm.
I mean, the story of the books follows like a video game arc, and that's just kind of like the joke.
Yeah. So it's like, I love Turtle Shredder's Revenge. I would love to hear if it changes that for other people, but I haven't gotten the Scott Pilgrim vibe since Scott Pilgrim. Yeah. And that includes Fighting Range, which, as you all know, I love.
Well, yeah, that's just like really specific feel, right? Like this, like the new Turtles game is designed to make you feel like you're playing an updated version of an arcade Turtles game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like how the same thing with the Streets of Rage was supposed to make you feel like you're playing like an updated Streets of Rage game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Speaking of which, let's get into the bonus round.
Bonus? What's the bonus round?
We're gonna ghost
girl.
The bonus girl. The bonus round is where we play covers and remixes and arrangements on our theme. And I chose from the last weekend. Our friend Daryl sent us a couple tracks from the new game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
And this is going to be a hilarious double whammy because I pretty much did the same thing.
Yeah, I had a feeling they would go back to back. So this is the track We Ain't Came to Lose by Raekwon and Ghostface Killah from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Now I'm here to beat you with full force, mess up your facial features. Hasta la vista, I'm selling all y'all little Caesars. All y'all stuff your face with is pizza crack like a hard-boiled egg on Easter. See these muscles on me, I could beat your teacher. I'll defeat Leonardo, y'all become the weakest. I take off all of your mass and dismantle your features. Shredder, I cross the line like a letter. Smash all of you turtles, put you back together. Indeed, I squish turtles like a tight girdle. Any obstacle, I clear it like a high hurdle. My stomach cringes for all of you fake ninjas. Fighting you are winless, show you what revenges. Diabolical moves, strike with mad vengeance. Ask Splinter, he know I'm coming with bad intentions.
We ain't came to lose. 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 I think it's time to call a war. Still face foot playing villains and more. With heroes in a half shell going to war. Got the city under siege and they holding the fort. Got extra large pizza boxes all on the floor. Get sized up by a negative force. Your time's up on whatever you thought. Individual starving the floor. So the samurai swords on point for the cause. Dangerous metals highlight the reign of terror. The twilight meets the reign of shredder. All for one and train together. The dark clouds and the strangest weather. Breaking news, the front line sprayed with ooze. No sunshine, only dangerous rules. We fly with nunchucks that'll tame the crews. And lace the enemies, we ain't came to lose. 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 We ain't came to lose.
That was We Ain't Came to Lose from TMNT, Shredder's Revenge by Raekwon and Ghostface Killah. That was submitted by Daryl.
It is a banger. I got to tell you flat out, it drives me nuts. Like, I always have this conversation with people when they say, I don't like this genre, I don't like that genre. I'm like, no, you just haven't heard the right song in a genre to learn what you like. And that stands the reason here because, like, I remember liking rap music. I remember liking it quite a bit. And then over the years, it just kind of fell off. And I would hear rap tracks. I'm like, this sounds terrible. This sounds terrible. You know what I'm talking about. You're at the traffic light in the city, and somebody drives up next to you, and this, like, really terrible track starts playing. It was like, I like doing drugs because they're great. Drugs, what? Get money, get paid.
I know.
Like, this is not fun. This is pretty lame. I want to listen to rap that has a chain of beats and lyrical flow. Something that makes me feel like I'm going to blow, feeling great.
Well, it's great because, like, also, I feel like a lot of modern rap I don't really connect to because I feel like they all have a very similar flow where they just go like yeah, pizza, something, pizza.
It just doesn't feel
I don't know,
great.
It's all like very like they used to call it mumble rap or something back like I guess years ago, but I just don't like what the modern rap style is like. But this is classic.
But that's just it though. I don't even think it's necessarily like modern. It's just what people are like making the easiest money off of. But this is rap that definitely still exists. It's just unfortunately not the stuff we're getting exposed to as often as we would like. But trust me, I like
their flow. I like the cleverness in their lyrics too, which is always a lot of fun. They've always been that way. And of course, it's all about the turtles and ninjas fighting, and that's a lot of fun. And because it's a video game, it's a much faster track than you would hear in a rap beat. It's pretty quick.
Oh yeah, because it has to keep up with the pacing of the action on the screen.
Yeah, but of course, like compared to other music in the game, it's pretty slow. But like for a rap track, I think it's pretty fast, which I appreciate. It has a lot of great instrumentation, and it changes around a whole lot. The scratching is really, really good, too. Really enjoyed the scratching on that track. So I know it says Raekwon and Ghostface Killah, but I wonder who else is doing production for this music.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
I'll find out.
He's like, I'll check right now. I figure while you're doing that, we may as well start the other track because they're both from the same game.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we'll bring up the last Rican's testimonial.
It just seemed right to play both of these tracks at the end of the show.
They're so good.
Yeah.
This track that I'm going to choose is the other submission that he provided to us, which is called Panic in the Sky. And this one was done by Lopes and Johny Atma.
Rumble in the air like thunder. This battle ride's gonna take you under.
Yogurt cup looks so tiny at Burt Hill's hand.
It's all right. I mean, it is a small yogurt cup. I mean, to be fair, but
is true.
And to be fair, your hands are also like twice the size of mine.
Giganto. This is also from TMNT Shredder's Revenge. The title of the track is Panic in the Sky, composed by T. Lopes and Johny Atma. So, similar to what Try Jeff said in the chat, this very much sounds like a Turtles track. Like, when you hear this, the party comes alive.
Oh, yeah.
You know things are happening on the screen. You're thrashing foot soldiers while you're, I guess, skating across the sky. And quite frankly, that's what I got from it when I listened to it, too. I was like, yep, I'm picking it. I'm ready. To be blunt, I feel like all the vehicle tracks in this game are really solid. Like, they have this vibrance to them that make me go, yeah, I'm having a great time beating guys up on the move.
It's like because it knows that like when you're a kid playing these games and you got to those stages, everyone got amped up. Everyone got so excited because it was just different enough, right?
Yeah, like sewer surfing. Oh, this is going to be great. Beat up the missiles. You know, it was such a good time. And then he fought the Rat King on a freaking jet scooter. How did he get that thing? But yeah, it was...
Who gave him this scooter?
Gave it to him. He didn't have that kind of tech. He has rats. He should be surfing on a board completely made up of rats, hanging on to each other. But no, I love this track. I love this game. It feels good to play. I like the fact that they brought Splinter and April O'Neil in as actual fighting characters, because people that watched only the cartoon are probably like, but yeah, she doesn't know how to fight. But to my recollection, in the comics, she learned judo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's a toughie.
So she can throw down. And, of course, Casey Jones, he deserved to be in the friggin' game.
Is he in the game or no?
Yeah, he's unlockable, though.
Oh, okay. Cool. I was like,
but yeah, like he was the vigilante they met. I remember when he came up on the cartoon for the first time, he was the guy that just didn't play by any rules. He was like, you can't do that. It's like, but you're vigilantes too. Like, yeah, but we follow a code.
I know, but it's funny because like they're both vigilantes, but Casey Jones can just take his mask off and walk around in the real world. The Turtles can't.
Well, yeah, I understand. This was the cartoon where all they do was wear trench coats and hats, and somehow no one knows the two fingers and hands.
Remember they had those terrifying human masks they would wear?
Oh, they were horrible, and people fell for those too. It was the most hilarious thing.
So it was so weird looking. Well, for more information on the bonus round, go to rhythmandpixels.com, where we'll have links to artists' Bandcamps and SoundClouds, where you can buy the music and support the artists.
Surf Sap!
All right, thanks for joining us on episode 33-4 of Rhythm and Pixels. This is the I'm calling it the hot Patreon summer of summer kickoff jams from video games, all picked by our listeners. So I want to thank everyone who's hung out with us in our chat room while recording the episode. It's like you're with me in my basement, but not in a scary way.
I don't know. I'm kidding.
It's
really good to have everybody chat with us on the chat because it feels good and organic. And honestly, God, I gotta stop doing it. I just like hearing everyone, or rather seeing everybody talk about cool stuff, make funny quips, and just be present, because we record these every week and people listen to the show, but it's not, it'd be nice if we got more like feedback back on that. So having people in the actual chat being like, hey guys, this is some weird stuff.
It's more immediate, which is nice.
Yeah, it's great.
I really like that a lot too. Maybe we could do more. I don't know. I like that it's a special thing, like once a month. I like that it's special.
If we did too many, we get less people showing up. It's like, well, I don't have time for this, or I'll do it later because it's going to be another one in like 2 days. So it's probably better to do it monthly anyway. But
I think so too.
But maybe if I start doing these game recordings or something, maybe that'll be a thing where it's like, hey, this is a weird thing to watch. Pernell made this stupid quip when he got killed for the umpteenth time on Bloody Martian Kid Chameleon. That's hilarious.
You gotta believe in yourself, Pernell.
Oh, no, I believe I'm going to get killed on Bloody Martian many times in Kid Chameleon. That level was hell on earth for me. I recorded it. That was the very first video game I recorded myself playing on VHS.
Oh, wow. Do you have those VHS still?
No, my brother recorded over them with basketball games.
Oh, okay. Well, do you still have those basketball games?
I'm pretty sure I smashed them over my knee because I was very angry when I learned he recorded over my recordings.
Man, now we'll never know who won that game.
Oh, I did when I smashed the tape over my knee.
Well, if you want to...
Wait, no, not yet. We got to give the credit for the...
Oh, that's right. I forgot we're playing one last track here. That's how could I forget?
What a track. Like, it was submitted... It was honestly a great submission by Christopher Shenstrom. And I love the track submission itself because He says it's Side Crawler's Dance from Wonderboy 3, composed by Banjo guy Ollie. Now, the thing about it, from my recollection, I could be wrong here, but Banjo guy Ollie did music for Wonderboy and the Cursed Kingdom, which was the revival of the Wonderboy franchise, and I'm fairly positive this track is in that game.
Oh.
This is a remix of, actually I'll say, I think he makes a reference to this too. So, Chris Shinstrom says, my usual go-to summer jam is The Secret of Mana, Color of the Summer Sky, a song amazingly composed with great melody and tropical vibe. But I'm throwing a curveball at you guys for the remix this time instead, and I hope you'll like it. It's the wonderful beach theme from the game Wonderboy, Side Crawler's Dance, covered by BG Ollie, which is Banjo guy Ollie, giving us his usual vibing and plus ultra. Yeah, there's some My Hero Academia references in there.
So, but you said that this is a remix of the track, but it was used in the game?
Yeah, so there's a number of tracks he did like that. So Wonderboy and the Cursed Kingdom was like sort of like a revival of the franchise, done by friggin', I can't remember the name of the company. I'm tired, but they got Banjo guy Ollie to do some tracks for the game. And this is a track they put in the game. It's kind of, it was meant to elicit vibes like, oh, I remember that game.
Oh.
And it worked on me because that beach track is one of my favorite VGM tunes. Like, this was the game that had me on TurboGrafx 16, sneaking past my aunt to go to my uncle's room to play the game while he was out with his friends when he was in high school. Like, nope, this is my chance to play TurboGrafx, play some Dragon's Curse, which is Wonderboy 3. And I loved getting to this level and beating up the crabs and listening to the coins bounce around on the ground. It's, if you've never played Wonderboy 3 or Dragon's Curse for that matter, they're the same game, just different namings. You owe it to yourself to give it a shot. It's so fun. And then play Wonderboy in the Cursed Kingdom, which maybe that'll be a Summer Games Challenge title. I'm on the last dungeon of that game, too.
Oh, so that'd be fun.
So I could finish it.
You could stream that, too.
Yeah, I love this. Enchilada Rigol shows up in the chat. The first thing I noticed he said was TG16 forever.
Yes.
TurboGrafx, baby. Such a good system. For all the game consoles that have come out, and the fact that I'll sit here and tell you that my favorites are like the Nintendo Switch and like the Nintendo DS, the TurboGrafx / Turbo Duo hold a place in my heart that can be taken up by nothing else. It was just a special system. Red Book audio, these like anime openings and closings, the voice acting that sounded like they hired the janitor to come in and record a few lines.
Now, when the TurboGrafx 16 was released in North America, did it come with the CD attachment?
No, it was originally the TG16 system itself. Then there was like a back adapter you could snap onto it.
Right.
Then it was the TurboGrafx CD adapter. Then there was a Super Card 2 you could slap in the Hue card slot. Then there was the Turbo Duo, which was just one console that had everything in it.
Right, that's what you had.
That's what I had.
Right, yeah, okay.
I still use it.
That's what I was remembering, and then I was like, wait a minute, am I thinking that was all that was released in North America because there were so many attachments and additions that they just probably weren't going to sell in North America, but I guess they did. They tried, which makes me sad because it feels like if they just started with the Turbo Duo, they probably would have had better luck. Because all that, it just extra expending money that people didn't want to drop cash on. But it makes me think, if I had high school or college money back when that system was new, would I have all of the stuff and not have to look at Dungeon Explorer 2 at Too Many Games selling for $500, wishing my uncle's friend gave it to me instead of selling it to a friend for $10? Ooh.
Because he just didn't like the game anymore. And I was like, no, you should have gave it to me. I'm still kicking myself for that.
Oh, man. Well, thank you very much, Christopher Shenstrom, for picking this track. I'm really enjoying it. I like the vibe of this track, too, especially done in the with the acoustic guitars. Well, if you want to get in contact with us, if you want to send us an email with a track suggestion, a topic suggestion, or anything like that, then do please send us an email. And that email is rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com. And for a full track listing of this episode and of all of our episodes and access to all of our episodes, because not all of our older episodes are on the podcast feed. You can go to the website,
rhythmandpixels.com.
And at the top of the website is a link to Discord, our Discord server. You can check that out. Me and Pernell hang out there. We have a lot of listeners. A lot of other video game music podcasters are also in that Discord. So you can click that link and it'll join you right in. We also have a YouTube radio station. It's 24/7 playing 8-bit and 16-bit classics and deep cuts. It's probably going to get a playlist update pretty soon because of some nastiness that we've been receiving from some game companies. So that's going to change pretty soon. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But it's at youtube.com/rhythmandpixels. I'm proud of that station, so you can go check that out and listen to that. And what else we got to plug here? We just had that live show. We're going to be hopefully at Retro World Games Expo in
Hartford
in August in Hartford, Connecticut. And if not at the show doing our show or doing a show, we'll just be up there anyway. So
if you're in the area, say hi.
Say hi.
Look for the tallest person in the room.
You'll find us. You'll find him, but I'll be next to him.
Yeah, it's the beacon.
He's the beacon. Purnell, send the beacon. You just take your shoes off and throw them in the air. And if you want to support the show, the best thing you can do is tell people about it, or you can click subscribe or like or whatever the button is on the platform you're listening to.
Travel back in time and warn them that the podcast is coming. The podcast is coming.
Yeah, or bring it with you back in time and create a paradox.
Oh, yes. If you guys aren't born, then the podcast won't happen. And how do you think we cured monkeypox the first time?
Oh, man. Without the podcast, we're all lost. You can also support us by going to Patreon, patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. As a member there, you get access to live episodes of recordings once a month, just like this one. You also get cool stuff like mugs and stickers, and there's t-shirts. And there's also some exclusive content. There's prequel episodes that we did in the past if you want to listen to me and Purnell chatting. A lot of the stuff that happened early in the pandemic where we weren't in the same room and we were just really angry. So a lot of that stuff was pretty angry.
We weren't angry. We were
upset. Very upset and sad. So there's a lot of that.
But it was fun.
A lot of that content. There's some mixtapes on there too. And there's also the live episode from Too Many Games 2022. That's on there as well. But I think that might be an episode later on. We also like to thank all of our Patreon members who are at the highest levels of our membership. So we want to first thank Brooke and Frankly Zappa. Both of you, thank you so much for supporting our show.
Thank you so much.
Huge thank you. Next, we want to thank the number one. Kristen, GameFan44, thank you very much. Mike Myers, the Turionator, Alf Person, and Vashin8060. All of you superstars. Thank you so much. Now we want to thank Alex Messenger from AVGM Journey, a podcast called AVGM Journey.
He is really growing, too. I'm really happy to see that show flourish.
Yeah, me too. Andreas Milberg, Brian Pitt, Cameron Worma, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, a podcast all about Asian cinema and Kung Fu movies. Chris Steenerson, Chris Weisner, a.k.a. Musashi219.
The wise guy.
Christopher Shenstrom, Chuck Kowalski, Davey Cakes, David Taylor, Enchilada Rigol, who's in
our chat.
Thank you very much for joining us. I think it's his first time in the chat.
It is. He's a great person already. He loves the TurboGrafx. What's not to like?
Harold Howard. We have Triple Jeff. Justin Schneider from XVGM Radio, another fantastic podcast. Keith Shusterman, Martyrus, host of the Re-VGM podcast. Michael Bridgewater, Dr. Michael Bridgewater, thank you very much. Rage Cage, host of the VG Emporium podcast. Reinhard Selkova, Sleepy S'more, Steve Miller, Taco, and Ed Wilson of the VG Embassy. And so we'll hopefully be seeing Ed from the VG Embassy and both Mike and Justin from XVGM Radio in the next coming months.
Yes.
So that'd be great. And maybe, unless I'll be at the beach with Chris Murray hanging out.
It wouldn't be the same weekend.
It could be. Could very well be.
Well, then you would go to Retro World.
I would do one of those things.
You would go to Retro World.
No, listeners come first, Purnell. Listeners come first.
Who's to say that Ed Wilson doesn't listen to our show?
That's true.
You never know.
That's true. He doesn't, though. I told him. He told me he's tired of podcasts. He's just doing it for the money.
Did it so hard for it, honey.
Anyway, thank you all. I'm just joking. Ed Wilson's a fantastic person who loves each and every one of you. He wants to tell you he loves every one of you.
To the moon and back.
He's a fantastic person. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. Thank you, everybody in the chat room, for hanging out with us, again, in my basement on the chat.
And also, just to throw it out there, since it was mentioned, thank you, Enchilada Rigol, for the very, very kind words you left for us in the chat as well. It was much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, Thanks all for listening to the show. My name's Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Have a great week.
And remember, hobbies are hobbies. Fun is fun. Don't let anybody tell you that what you love is lame, because if they do and they want to be jerks about it, you can tell them from me. They're full of it. It's all about making the best of this situation in this life we live and just trying to enjoy ourselves. And even better if you can make friends and connections through those hobbies and interests, like the VGM scene has done for most of us. Video games, it came up in a discussion not too long ago. Like, it's me giving up a little TMI here, but I was having this weird lamentation, like, man, maybe video games, maybe if I didn't spend so much time with these video games, I'd be doing something different or enjoying something different. And a friend of mine, I think it was actually the wise guy who said it. That's where he gets his name.
He's the wise one.
He was like, to be honest, Pernell, you've made so many friends through video games and video game music and stuff. Like, this is the thing for you. Like, your life would not be what it was if it weren't for these two hobbies. Like, there's nothing wrong with loving this stuff. And it's worked on for other people just as much as it has for you. It's fantastic. It's like, never regret or even question that playing video games and having such a passion for those things has been good for you.
Yeah, totally.
And considering how many people I have actually engaged with that look at games as being like a chump change chore or a waste of your time, just goes to show you that that's actually far from the truth. It is 100% a fun hobby. It has value. It's all about engaging with others and enjoying that hobby with those people. You can take a lot with it. It's just worth it. So just enjoy what you like. Don't let anybody tell you that what you like is stupid, because they're full of garbage. Unless what you enjoy is eating garbage, in which case,
then that's an accurate
statement.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
enjoy. Put some hot sauce on it.
Really think about your life choices.
No, or put hot sauce on it.
I mean, I'm not going to judge, but I mean, come on, it's garbage.
Yeah, it's true.